Let's fake a blow dry in my dirty hair because I really don't have time to wash it. And if you want to make sure it's worth it, here's what it's going to look like at the end. Okay, let's get started. Hi, I'm Christina from Hair Romance, and I really hate washing my hair. That's pretty much the whole point of this channel, though I am getting better at it. But I have exercised, I've sweated in this hair, I slept on it, and I forgot that I had to go to a work event really soon. So I need to fix it up fast so that it looks good, because everyone always expects me to have good hair. I never expect anyone to have good hair, but this is how I fake it fast. Obviously, dry shampoo to the rescue. Now, if I had thought about this earlier, I would actually have used dry shampoo last night. A really good trick for using dry shampoo is to apply it to your hair the night before, so that in the morning it's ready to go. Otherwise, if you're just using it now, give it a minute just to try and work in and absorb any of those oils. And to help that work into my hair, I'm just going to comb it through because I've got quite a few knots and a bit of a mess in here. And always shedding. I feel like it's my entire life story to lose hair all the time. So if you've got a lot of knots, remember always combing from the bottom and working your way up. And a second product trick that I'm going to use for this hairstyle is a little bit of my favorite Physiologic. This is just like a good oil serum for your hair. It's more of like a silicone serum. But I love this because it's going to add a little bit of heat protection and it's going to just smooth down and make it easier to comb through this old hair as well. Always with serums, you want to focus on what they say ears down. So that means whatever hair you can grab from below your ears, that's where you want to work the product in. If you've got finer hair and you don't want to use a serum, you find it too heavy, just get a nice aerosol heat protectant spray that's going to add a little bit more protection for your hair. And that makes it actually so much easier to comb through. And of course, a few more bits of hair coming out. Now I am starting from a semi-okay point because I blow dried my hair 3 days ago, but since then I've trained twice and it's getting a bit messy. So I don't have to do a full reset, but I definitely need to reset these weird kinks that are happening. And the best trick for doing this hairstyle is actually with a hot brush. If you don't have one of these, you can use a hairdryer and a round brush, but having a hot brush is a really good one. This is the Restyle from Evie. These are like the best of both worlds of a curling wand and a blow dry because they kind of smooth your hair. You can add a little bit of wave, a little bit of shape, but the center part of it is heated, and on that section it just gets a bit closer to the hair, smooths it down, adds some shine. It's good. So let's get started. That dry shampoo is worked in. We've added a little bit of heat protection with the serum, and then we're just going to style starting at the front because we want to get this done as quick as possible, and if we run out of time, at least the front's going to look good. I'm just rolling this around my hair and rolling this back. Then I'll do one forward. Oh, we'll let it settle. Trust the process. All right. Now I'm going to work in little small sections around my face here. Anything that I think really needs to be straightened out, I'm going to try and get on the actual barrel. Otherwise, using a round brush, just with your hair dry, get a bit of tension. Whatever hot tool is your favorite, this is just going to help you smooth it back out and getting it looking a lot smoother. And the thing I like about this is it does allow you to get a little bit more volume. It's not like using a flat iron, which is such extreme heat on your hair, but it gives it a bit more smoothing than using a curling wand because you can actually get that tension in with the brush and get that little heat just on one side of your hair. And similar to that, I like to curl it down the handle just to bring in that sort of smooth finish. I'm normally curling the sections away from my face because I do like that sort of more 70s style blow dry, but if you want a more of a modern look, go one forward, one back, and it gives it a little bit less of a curled finish. And otherwise, if you want something a little bit more classic, curling forward is a really good way. And what I mean by that is curling backwards, away from the hair, or curling forwards. One trick I like to do is curl some of the bottom layers forward. I think that this gives it a nicer finish so that the front top layers are curling back and these ones underneath are just sort of curling under. Honestly, this tool is such a time saver. I only reach for it because you have to use it on dry hair, so it's a really good way if you just like to let your hair air dry and then add a little bit more sleek finish, just curl the ends. You can do that with this brush. Find it just such a really good restyle product. But I mean, look, if we compare one side to the other, already that's only been a couple of minutes and we're almost there. Always these front sections, I'm going to just have another little play just to get them just right. Now, as for the back of my head, look, it's really none of my business, but I'm going to just use this like a brush just to smooth down and smooth under the layers that were sticking out there. But look, we're in a hurry, we're not that bothered. We want to make sure the front looks good and the rest we can worry about later. If you have more time, by all means go through and do this properly, but we just want to make sure we're looking good enough for anything sort of forward facing and then you don't have to worry about the rest. If your hair is feeling really rough and you think it needs a little bit more work, I like to brush one side of the hair and then the other side and then do the styling part. Just helps to kind of really smooth down any sections that are really quite frizzy and gives you a better finish. And remember, it's how you cool your hair that matters the most. If your hair doesn't hold a curl very well and does drop, I recommend pinning up some of these curls at the bottom just to give a bit more wave if you want them to hold in your hair. Otherwise, this is the reason I like to wrap the hair around the brush. The handle of the brush like this just gives it those few extra seconds. It's on the heat and then it's cooling in that same shape, just giving it a chance to cool down and then hold that shape a little bit better. Grab these frizzy underneath sections. Like, I'm definitely not trying to do a perfect job here. That is not what this is for. This is just so I didn't have to wash my hair and I have a hairstyle that looks good enough to wear out to an event. I feel like I got this side of my fringe right. Just gonna have to try this side one more time. It's always one side's better than the other. Do we match? I think that's looking much better now. And honestly, that's it for this brush. That's all I'm gonna do. Now I'm just gonna quickly pop some makeup, get changed, and then we'll finish off the style. All right, so I got changed, did my face a little bit more, and I know for my hair type, I'm going to add in just a little bit more of that serum. It's literally just a little drop, which I'll warm up in my hands and work that through. But you can see that just giving your hair that time to cool while you get changed, do your makeup, has meant that it's just gonna be sitting better and those waves are really gonna hold better now. If you break them up while your hair's still warm, it's just gonna keep dropping, but giving it a chance to cool, even pinning it up if you need to, perfect. Now, you know, I always do like one side better than the other, but look, we're not going for perfection. We're just doing hair in 5 minutes. That means I didn't have to wash my hair. That's exactly all it is. And I have a final trick as well. For when you've got little flyaways, be that broken hair, new growth, whatever's happening, just general frizz, don't apply hairspray straight to your hair. I like to apply hairspray to a makeup brush. And that way you don't get too much product on your hair. And then I go through and I actually stick down all of those flyaways. That way I'm getting the product exactly where I need it to be. And I stick down those flyaways without having heavy hair. This is also a great trick if you've got to travel somewhere before you arrive. You can pop this and a brush and a little mini hairspray in your bag. This one is the L'Oreal Elnet, a classic, cheap, tiny, fits in a bag. And then you can do your hair on the go. Perfect for humid days. Just stick down those tiny little flyaways on top. And then if you want to, you can add a little bit just around the front. But that's it. And so I went from taking my filthy hair to this. And look, I really should have timed it. I'm going to put a timer here somewhere of how long it took. But it was fast. And it was a lot faster than me having to wash my hair. Now, let me know what you'd like to see in my next video. If you've got any hair questions, ask me below. And you can find me over on Hair Romance everywhere on socials. Have fun with your hair, and I'll see you next time. Bye.